Hey guys, welcome back to Music with Mr. T. I'm so excited to share this lesson with you today. I've got my sweater on and my Rudolph hat because it's so chilly and so snowy and cold outside. We're coming to you today to talk to you about some different traditions that different folks celebrate throughout the holiday season in the month of December. So there are 3 different traditions we're going to talk about today. The first is Christmas, the second is Kwanzaa, and the third is Hanukkah. So we're going to talk a little bit about each of those traditions, some of the main points from them, and hear a little bit of music from each of those different holiday traditions. Let's get started. Get your hot chocolate, your blanket, your hat, your sweater, whatever you need to keep warm so we can be nice and cozy on this holiday adventure journey. The first tradition we're going to look at is the celebration of Christmas. This is mostly celebrated by folks who practice the Christian religion or faith, and it represents the birth of Jesus. Christmas occurs on December 25th, and here are 3 images that represent some of the big symbols in the celebration of Christmas. The first is the Christmas tree. Many of us decorate a Christmas tree, stars on top, ornaments all around, garland, lights, all those things in our homes. The second symbol is a wreath. Most of us like to put wreaths on the door. They are usually made either from the same material the tree is made from, either synthetic fake plastic, or from the real tree branches. They're shaped in that circle shape, and some folks also decorate them with other ornaments, ribbons, garlands as well. The third symbol that we're going to see with Christmas is Santa Claus, who's going to bring all of our gifts for us on Christmas morning. Now, let's take a look at the celebration of Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is celebrated from December 26th through January 1st. Looking at this image here, we see that there are a number of candles. Let's count the candles. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 candles that are lit for each day during the celebration of Kwanzaa. 3 candles are red, 3 candles are green, and 1 candle is black. Each candle represents a different principle or ideal that is celebrated on each of the 7 days of Kwanzaa. Let's take a look at what each of those 7 principles are. The first principle is umoja, which means unity. Umoja means unity. The second principle is kujichagulia, which means self-determination. The third principle of Kwanzaa is ujima, which is about collective work and responsibility. The fourth principle, Ujamaa, cooperative economics. The fourth principle, Nia, what is your purpose? The next, Kuumba, talks about creativity. The next, Imani, which means faith. Each of these 7 principles of Kwanzaa are rooted in African teachings from the language of Swahili in Africa, and it's talking mostly about celebrating the harvest of the fruits, the vegetables, everything that's been grown throughout the year. Our biggest goal through Kwanzaa is celebrating a prosperous life for the upcoming year. So all of these words that we just learned for Kwanzaa are again from the continent of Africa in the language of Swahili. The next celebration that we'll look at today is the celebration of Hanukkah. Now, there are a few different sources that say they begin on a couple of different days, but the general consensus is that it begins on December 11th or the 10th and goes through December 18th. The celebration of Hanukkah, also known as dedication in the language of Hebrew, is celebrated by those of the Jewish faith. It's also known as the Feast of Dedication, the Festival of Lights, or the Feast of Maccabees. We have that name for Feast of Maccabees because it's reaffirming or reminding or stamping those ideals of Judaism and also talks about the second temple of Jerusalem. When we look at these three images here, these three images are one of the biggest things that help us remember what ideals or what happens during the celebration of Hanukkah. First, here we have the menorah. It's a set of candles. There are 9 candles, one here in the middle, and 4 on the side. And each of these candles represents the number of days that the lamp actually burned when Judas Maccabeus first lit the lamp, when he was unhappy with the way of life for him at that current time. So he lit the lamp on the first day, and it stayed burning for 8 more days. Thus, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles that burn for each of the 8 days of the celebration of Hanukkah. Next image that we have is of a dreidel. The dreidel is a spinning top. This one in the image is made of wood, but it can also be made of plastic or clay, and is a very fun song and game that it can be played with this dreidel. Another symbol of Hanukkah is potato latkes. If you look at them closely, they look just like pancakes, because that's what they are. Potato latkes are potato pancakes. The same way that you make a pancake with flour, eggs, sugar, milk. Instead, you would use potatoes as your main base ingredient and cook them and fry them up, and they are one of the main staples of the Jewish community and the celebration of Hanukkah. And they are very tasty. You know Mr. T loves food, so these are a very tasty food item. Throughout this celebration, we light a candle each day for each day of Hanukkah. Children and adults are also playing with the dreidel, cooking traditional foods, and celebrating again that temple of Jerusalem. Thank you so much for coming to another fun-filled day of Music with Mr. T. We've covered 3 different holiday traditions, the first being Christmas, the second Kwanzaa, and the third Hanukkah. Now, I only gave a little bit like surface level details because there's so much more that we can do with these holidays, so much more information. But this just gives you a little snapshot of the main ideas of these different celebrations. So feel free to do more research, dive deeper into the information about each of these different celebrations so that you can really present all of it to your students. Thanks so much for coming to join us today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful time teaching music and sharing the love of different traditions with all of your students. Thanks so much for coming. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye now.